my name is Danielle and welcome to Board Game Bakes. This week we're going to focus on the Tea Drying Society. Which is a fun card game that's produced by Renegade Game, and we're going to recreate this teapot right here that's found in some cards, and on the cover it looks like of both games. In the game there's different tea dragons and one of them is Rooibos. So we're going to make a Rooibos strawberry cake with Rooibos strawberry icing to mainly form as an adhesive and then cover it with fondant. And the question is, can we make the teapot for tea? Worth a try at least. Here we go! The best way to infuse tea flavor into baked goods is to infuse it into the butter. So that's where we'll begin. Melt 3 sticks of butter, 2 for the cakes and 1 for the icing, in a saucepan until it starts to bubble. Mix in 12 grams of Rooibos tea. I used it from a bag, but I imagine the loose leaf tea probably works even better. Let it sit for a few hours or overnight. When ready to make your cake, remelt your butter and pour it through a strainer. If you're doing loose leaf tea, it'll probably make more of a difference. If you're doing the tea bags, it's okay if you have a few grains go through. Measure 200 grams of the butter for the cake, and I had about 75 grams left over for the icing. Spray your pan with cooking spray and dust it with flour, because it's the worst if your cake gets stuck. Yes, this is a pumpkin pan, which seems teapot-like enough for me, so I'm going to go with it. A regular sphere pan would also work, and you could decide to carve that if you want. To make our cake, let's combine 180 grams of almond flour, 60 grams of shredded coconut, 150 grams of granulated sugar, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt in a large bowl. And these are in grams because this is the recipe I used, so I'll include the link to it below. Next, you want to mix 4 eggs, 1.5 teaspoons vanilla extract, and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. This can be easily done with a whisk, but since I already got my mixer out, I'm going to put it to good use. Add the liquids to the dry ingredients and mix to combine. Fold in 160 grams of chopped strawberries. Pour the batter as evenly as possible into the 2 pan halves, and you want to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 to 40 minutes, which is basically until a toothpick comes out clean. Let it cool completely before you move on. To make the icing, combine your leftover Rooibos butter, 2 cups of powdered sugar, and 3 tablespoons of strawberry juice. My strawberries were frozen, so it was just sitting in the bottom of the bag, but mashing strawberries or putting in the food processor should do the trick as well. Mix until smooth, which is really easy to do with this. Add a pinch of salt to bring it all together. If you store in the fridge, remix it with a hand mixer and add a splash of milk to loosen it before applying it to your cake. Now you can prep your decorations. Take a batch of marshmallow fondant, which if you want to know how to make it, watch my Sheepy Time video, and add black and black and black, a bit more black, to get a nice deep gray that will hopefully darken and become mostly black. Hi, me again. Take a second to subscribe to the video to see some more content every week. Bye! Time to prep the cake. Start by tracing the bottom of the cake to make a cardboard cutout that can be lined with aluminum foil, and this will be the base of your cake. Next, use a serrated knife to flatten the tops of your cake. These cakes are a bit frozen, which could help you cut your cake, but since this one's a little more dense, it makes it a little harder to chisel off. Place the bottom of your pumpkin teapot cake. Okay, just a teapot cake, but it looks like a pumpkin. On the cardboard, spread a thin layer of icing on the middle of the cake. Line up the top of the cake with the ridges on the bottom. Now the teapot in the card game has ridges that go around it, so we're going to let those stay. Use the rest of the icing to put a thin layer around the cake. The icing has a very strong flavor, so a little goes a long way. Smooth the icing out and put in the fridge while you prep your fondant. Use wire to make a handle for your teapot. Pinch and twist the wire a little towards the bottom, and this would be where the handle will be going through a hole on the actual teapot. Make sure to leave some empty wire below because you need that to stick into the cake. To make the spout wire, determine how long you want your spout to be, double that amount, and fold and twist it so this way it has extra support. Okay, now you want to take your fondant and roll it out. Ideally, use cornstarch so that it doesn't stick. Or if somehow you didn't buy more like me, powdered sugar also works. Try to get to as close to an eighth of an inch thick as possible, making sure to check periodically that it's not sticking. Use a rolling pin to get the fondant off the counter and drape it over the cake. Start by smoothing at the top and gently pull and smooth down the sides to get rid of any folds. Cut away extra fondant, but make sure that you leave enough of it so it could cover your cardboard piece. Now for the fun details. Use the extra fondant folds to make the details. Roll the fondant thinner than it was there, so this way you don't have too much on your handle. Cut a strip and center it on your handle wire, I guess. Use your finger to seal it together, and you could keep molding it to thin it out. For the circle on the top, find a circular object that you can use as a cookie cutter. For me, it's this lovely Disney mug, and hopefully it'll decide to come out. Use an extra bit of fondant to roll into a ball for the lid. Finally, for the spout, start by rolling the whole wire up like a sleeping bag. That was the best example I had. Apply water periodically to the fondant as you're rolling it, so this way it'll stay together because it acts like a glue. Take another piece of fondant and apply kind of like a gradient in the bottom because you want the spout to be a little fatter where it connects to the teapot. Use your hands to mold it and seal it all together.
Cake assemble!
Oh, yeah, just me. Add your circle fondant by using your finger to put water on the bottom and sticking it onto the cake. Next, do the same thing to add your sphere, and use those little bits of wire that you left sticking out to stick the handle into the cake. The last bit to apply is the spout. It'll hold up better on your cake if it's had time to harden overnight. And then you just stick it in, and voila! Okay, so you made a teapot cake. The natural question now is, can it pour tea? Or at least that's what my husband asked, and I said, go for it.
Alright, so we've made a teapot cake. Now we're going to make the teapot cake pour tea. But to do that, we're going to need to change out our spout. To start with, you're going to need to find a straw, wire, and tinfoil. Take the tinfoil and form it around the tip of the straw where it's going to be pouring out. That way you have a nice pouring surface. Then take the wire, wrap it around the foil and straw, and continue to wrap it down the straw, leaving a good little bit out the back. Now, all you have to do is rewrap the straw just like you did before with fondant to create the spout. If you have a nice curved straw, you'll be able to have a more curved spout than mine did, but do what you have. Keep molding it around till you get the shape you like. Fold it around the top as well, but instead of having a lot of fondant at the bottom, you want to leave a good 2 to 3 inches off, because this is going to get shoved through your cake. In order for your teapot to pour tea, it's going to need to be able to hold tea. So we're going to make a bowl. Take some tin foil, fold it up nicely, then find some curved vessels like a bowl or a cup and shove it inside, making sure to get a nice, solid, sealed cup. Once that's done, we're going to deform the cake. Take the handle off and shove the knife in. Cut off a nice portion of the lid, that way it stays together. Then you're going to take a spoon and hollow out the middle until you're satisfied with how deep it goes. Put your tinfoil cup inside and proceed to shove your spouted straw through your cake until it punctures through into your bowl. Make sure everything's aligned and situated. Finagle it a bit, put the lid back on, and there you go. You have a teapot that now pours tea.
Thanks for watching another episode of Board Game Bakes. What's your favorite type of tea? Let me know in the comments. Keep playing games and keep them sweet. Bye!